Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, today I'm super excited. I get to share with you a couple of cards using some memory box dies. I picked up 3 of them. This is the happy and the thank you puzzle letter dies, and then this one here is called the sheer circle wreath. So I thought we'd create fun cards using them. I love the puzzle sentiments. And then this size of the wreath is perfect for card making. It's not too big and it's not too small. You can put multiples on a card if you wanted to, and so that's why I picked that up. But this is the happy puzzle piece, and those letters actually connect together. There's innies and outies, and they connect beautifully just like a puzzle. I liked it so much that I picked up the thank you also. And they're actually a great size for card making too. So I thought we'd make a thank you card and a happy birthday card today. We're going to bring in some old and new. The dies are new to me, and then the stamp sets that we're going to be using are on the older side. So we're going to jump in, and I'm going to do some die cutting just with some white cardstock. It's Nina 80-pound cardstock because I'm going to use my Copic markers to color in each one of those letters. Since the die, it's just one die for the thank and the you and then the happy, I thought it'd be easier if I just used my alcohol markers to color them in. Now I wanted a gradient on my letters, so I chose 2 colors, a light shade and a dark shade, and I'm going to basically flip-flop on the gradient. One will have the darker color on top, and the other one it'll fade to the lightest color. This one I'm going to add light all over. This is like a teal blue, and then I'm going to add dark to the bottom, and then I'll take my lightest color and kind of fade it out just so it blends nice and even. Now what I meant is my next letter, the darkest tone is on the T is on the bottom of the letter. For the H, I'm going to put the darkest tone on top. And I'm just going to do that just to shake it up a bit. I chose some very bright colors. They just make me happy. I changed my video intro and I like the bright colors that I have on there, so I was inspired by that today. But these are so neat how they just connect. I do want to add dimension to my sentiment. So instead of adding itty bitty pieces of foam adhesive behind there, we're going to end up die cutting out some white fun foam. But we're just going to color in the thank and the happy and the you. And there were 2 Y's. I wanted to make sure that I got my colors correctly spaced. I didn't want 2 pink Y's basically, so I kind of kept them in the order of the sentiment letters. Okay, here's where I went in and die cut out the same sentiments with my white fun foam. And my fun foam is actually adhesive backed. And so when I die cut it out, some of the adhesive stuck to, or the adhesive backing stuck to my plate. My plate's pretty old. I need to replace it. It has a lot of the cut lines in it, and I need to replace it. But they stayed inside the foam sheet, and that was a benefit to me because I just added glue over the top, and then I added my letters on top. It gave me a little bit of time for my letters to dry and to set on the fun foam, except for the T. The T is one of the letters that the release paper came off of, and so when I went to pick up the sheet of fun foam, the T stuck to my mat, so I had to redo that one. But no worries, we'll just flip it upside down on the desk there, and I think it'll be okay. Now with the leftover piece of cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and use, there's some balloons and a cupcake in the birthday bash stamp set. This one's I've had in my stash for a while. It's from Paper Smooches. I've used the cake in there. I thought the cake was so fun, but I haven't used the balloons, so I'm not sure if I remember using the cupcake in it. But we're going to stamp the balloons, and then we're also going to stamp the little cupcake there. And then balloons will be of course, for the birthday card. And then the cupcake I thought would be cute for the thank you card. I'm using Memento ink because I'm going to use my Copic markers, the same colors basically, to color in the cupcake. I did the coloring off screen, but I thought since there is a solid image in the stamp set to color in the balloons, I thought we would just stamp it with my inks. So I have some of my inks here. The blue is Beach Breeze, and when I stamped it wrong because I have a pink ink and a green ink. The blue actually needed to be in the middle because I was planning on going pink, blue, and then green. And then the colors that overlapped would create a real cohesive color. When I added the blue to the very end, if I added the green to that or the green to the pink, the color would turn muddy. So I restamped it, and after I restamped it, I thought, you know what? We're going to go ahead and color in the balloons with the same Copic marker. So that's what I did. I didn't even use my inks or the solid image of the balloon to color, to ink up my balloons. I just used my Copic markers, and I like the outcome better because it kind of coordinated better with my sentiment. Okay, we're going to take some double stitched rectangle dies, and we're going to cut out 4 panels, 2 for each of our cards. A smaller one's going to leave me 1/4 inch on the other size panel. And then I also die cut out my sheer circle wreath. We're going to finish off the rest of our sentiment with a sentiment stamp from Stampendous, another stamp set that I've had in my stash for a while. And for the birthday, since we just have happy, I thought we would stamp birthday wishes, and then that would complete my birthday card sentiment. And then for the thank you, there's a sentiment in that same stamp set that says from the heart. So I thought that would be cute for the thank you card. I'm going to stamp both the sentiments here on black cardstock, and then we're going to heat emboss with white embossing powder. So I did treat my paper with my anti-static powder tool, and then we're stamping with Versamark ink both the sentiments. Again, one will say from the heart, the other one will say birthday wishes. We're just going to add some white embossing powder, and then using my heat gun, I'm going to go ahead and melt that embossing powder. And for some reason I treated my paper with my anti-static powder tool, but I must have had a lot of oils on my hand because there was embossing powder everywhere. Okay, after this is melted, we're going to die cut them out. These here are some dies. They actually go with sentiments from Avery L. They're the Simple Sentiments die set. And everything I use today, guys, will be linked down below or over my blog if you want to check it out. But these work great for any kind of sentiments I found. So I don't have the sentiments stamp set, I just have the dies. So I die cut those out, and they look great. We're going to go ahead and flip them over and add foam adhesive behind them. And then this part of each of our cards are ready to go. We're kind of doing 2 cards at once. Usually I do 1 at a time, but both the cards are pretty similar, so I thought it'd be easier to do 2 at once. Okay, now I wanted some color in my background, so we're going to do a little ink blending. So I'm bringing in my craft mat and a couple of distress oxide inks. I have peacock feathers, and then I also have picked raspberry. We're going to ink a blend with the MFT stencil. This is the Mini Cloud Edges stencil, and I'm going to basically color in the entire background of this panel using just 1 color of ink. And I wanted it kind of heavy and bright. I'm just twisting and turning the stencil as I go, so I have a different cloud line. We'll ink up our blending tool and do a little bit more inking here. And we're just going to continue down until the bottom of our panel here. And I'm leaving a little bit of white area. I just think it helps add dimension with a cloudy sky. Now after we have this panel done with the peacock feathers, I'm going to do the exact same thing on my second panel, but I'm only going to just use the picked raspberry. So we'll have a pink and a blue, kind of almost like we're doing baby cards, but the bright colors just make it nice. Even though you can't see too much of the cloud background, I think the detail is there. Okay, before we go any further, I do want to pop up these panels, so I'm going to use some foam adhesive. I like to use fun foam. Sometimes my 3M foam tape can get a little bit expensive, and so I go to Walmart and I pick up a big old pack of fun foam from there, and it's pretty inexpensive. And then the colors can coordinate with basically all the colors of my cards. Let me show you. I'm going to grab it. The pack that I have is this. I just picked up another one, but it's adhesive backed, which is really nice. There's 40 sheets in it, and they're 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, so half of a standard piece of cardstock. So if you're at Walmart, probably not because we're homebound, but I think you can order it online at walmart.com too, but it's pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $7, but it pops up your elements beautifully. Okay, so there's my background panels. Now we're going to work on our puzzle. One of my wreaths there, I die cut out higher than the other one, only because that one I'm going to have 2 layers of sentiment. I have the thank and then the you, and then the other one we're just going to have 1 layer, so I lowered my wreath a little bit. Now this is really fun, and I'm so glad I added the foam adhesive because it made it even more like a puzzle. If you don't have the foam adhesive, you could just die cut it out your cardstock a few times to create like a chipboard effect. I think that would work the same too. The nice thing about the foam adhesive though is the release paper. It's not too tacky on the reverse side, so you could pick it up and reposition your sentiment if you want to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my U. I'm going to offset it to the left a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my happy to my other panel. Love those bright colors. Okay, once we have our sentiment adhered, I went ahead and popped up those white panels onto our cloud background, and then I added those to an A2 size white top folding card base. And then we're going to go ahead and add our elements right in the center of our wreath. I'm just loving the way that turned out. Okay, we're going to add from the heart, which I didn't like there. It was covering up my real pretty thank you, or my U, and so we're going to end up moving that out of the way. We'll lift that up and tuck that underneath the cupcake, and then we're just going to reposition the U so it's in the center. I thought it was so cute the way these connected, and I didn't want to take away from that. Okay, I think that looks good. I love the bright colors too. Okay, after we have this done, now there's a lot going on, and I didn't want to add any bells and whistles. Believe it or not, I didn't add no glitter or anything, but I am going to highlight my balloons with my white gel pen. And I was happy with the outcome. I thought the colors were just bold enough to pop, and I didn't need any extra little sparkle. I think it was perfect. But for the thank you, I have the sentiment says from the heart, and so I thought we would bring in a little cherry for our cupcake, but instead of a cherry, we'll make it a little heart gem and put that up there. Kind of go with the thank you. We'll just stick that up there, and I'll do a little highlighting with my my white gel pen on the cupcake so it stands out. Now hindsight, I think my cupcake is orange cupcake liner, and then it's a pink frosting. I think maybe I would have used maybe a blue or a green cupcake liner, but I think in the close-ups you could really see the color difference, but in the camera you really can't. But that's my card for today, guys. It was super fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I did leave the cleanup in. It's after the close-up picture here. Still shots are on my blog if you want to visit it. But have a lovely day, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.